Hello and welcome to the Savvy Corner. This is the video where I can finally say that I started this channel last decade. Welcome to 2020. If you're new here, my name is Alisa Barcan. I'm a financial coach and consultant based in the UK. I make money-related videos covering personal and business finances, financial well-being and money mindset. That being said, this video is a little different to the ones I normally make. I've had a few people subscribe to my channel in the last few weeks, and I am very pleased to welcome them to the community. At the same time though, I realize that not every subscriber or every viewer knows me or knows what I do as a coach and how I got to practice coaching. So today I want to share with you my story of becoming a financial coach. What is it that I do in my work with clients and what sets me apart from other professionals? So grab your non-alcoholic beverage of choice and let's have a chat. How did I become a coach? My background is in accountancy. I am a chartered certified accountant and I practiced accountancy for a few years before I moved into more commercial analyst type roles. I was happy in most of my jobs. I am very detailed and numbers oriented, and therefore crunching numbers was a job that suited me very well, at least for a while. It was at the end of 2016 that I started to have this feeling of restlessness in my job. I didn't know what it was, so I assumed it must be that the role I was in at the time was not fulfilling enough, and therefore I changed jobs. And then 6 months into my new role, it happened again. I couldn't stop asking myself, is this all there is? Is this what I've been training so hard for and fought so hard to get to so that I can see some numbers changing at the bottom of a spreadsheet? Now, don't get me wrong, I had a very cushy job. I wasn't in a difficult job per se. It had good pay and my boss was lovely. Yet I felt that the impact I was making in my work was not significant enough. And I struggled with this feeling because on paper I had everything and I had nothing to complain about. And there were times when I felt guilty and ungrateful for not being satisfied with a job that others would probably do anything to have. Anyway, to make a long story short, after a lot of soul searching and internet searching, I came about this thing called financial coaching. This was around August 2017, and at that point I didn't know what coaching was, and I definitely had not heard of financial coaching. But the more I read about it and the more I researched it, the more interested it sounded. So I ended up doing a 1-week intense course on it. I really enjoyed that training and I felt that I had a natural inclination towards this kind of work. And I was also told by observers as well as the people that I coached on the course that I have a natural talent for coaching, and it did indeed feel quite natural for me. I liked it so much, in fact, that in September 2017 I started my business, The Savvy Corner, because I knew at that point that financial coaching was something I wanted to continue to do in the future. However, the more I read and the more I researched about coaching, the more I realized how little I actually knew. I was comfortable with the financial part of financial coaching, but I was lacking in the deeper knowledge regarding coaching, the theory, the history behind it, the different types of coaching and which one would be most suitable for me. I became quite nervous thinking about the fact that without this knowledge, I could potentially do more harm than good. So in early 2018, I enrolled into a 1-year coaching qualification with the University of Cambridge. And this was where I really consolidated my knowledge about coaching in general, and I became confident that I know how to do this work. By the time I enrolled into the coaching course, I already had clients and they were seeing some fantastic results. So for an entire year, I got to experiment and try different techniques and really find my signature coaching style. However, that was a difficult year for me because I was working full-time, I was studying at Cambridge, which is no joke, so I was putting in a lot of time and effort, and at the same time I was seeing clients in the evenings. So, needless to say, I was super tired, I didn't have time or energy for a lot of things, and also in the middle of it I decided to change jobs, so I was having to learn a new job as well. At the end of 2018, I started to realize that I was stretching myself into too many directions. But the good news is that I didn't have to. My business had been going for 1 year. At this point, I had a waiting list for clients, and therefore I could decide to go full-time in my business if I wanted to. which I did. And that was a scary decision, a decision I didn't anticipate doing until at least 2020. But I've done my calculations and I decided to go all in. So at the end of 2019, I went full-time on the Savvy Corner, and it's been a heck of a ride. Looking back, it looks like it happened ages ago because so many things have happened since. My coaching work and offering has expanded and it has changed. I started this YouTube channel. I became a tutor for the University of Cambridge, but that's not the focus of the video. I've already talked quite a lot about my story and how I get to be where I am today. Now let's talk a little bit about what I do as a financial coach. Every financial coach is different. The fact that we have the same title doesn't mean that we all do the same things. I personally have 3 areas of focus within my business. The first one is working with young professionals who want to improve their financial situation, but they don't know how to do it. They don't have the skills or the confidence to do it. A lot of my personal finance clients are people who earn a decent salary, a very good salary in fact, but don't get to see much of it at the end of the month for several reasons. They might have some debt in the form of credit cards, overdrafts, personal loans, and would like to clear that debt and become more disciplined with their money because they have some financial goals that they'd like to reach in the near future. That might be buying a house, traveling, starting a family, or starting an investment portfolio, maybe moving to a different country, and so on. My work with them is focused on practicalities of money, so budgeting, expenditure optimization, goal setting, discipline, and more importantly, we work on their money mindset, the beliefs and emotions that they have around money, and understanding how they block their financial progress. The second area of focus for my business is financial coaching and consulting for business owners. Because of my background as an accountant, I am well placed to help people understand the numbers in their business and how to use them to reach their business goals. So I act as a trusted advisor and as a strategic partner for business owners who want to take their business to the next financial level. But I also coach the business owners on how to get there themselves before the business can follow. You can have an amazing strategy, but if you as the leader of the business don't believe that you can get there, then it's not going to happen. So I work with people, mostly service-based business owners, to help them with their mindset, especially around pricing, sales conversations, negotiation, and value distinction and separation when it comes to charging. And finally, the third area of focus for my business is working with corporations and businesses to deliver financial well-being workshops for their employees. In the last decade, money has become one of the biggest stressors in our society, and employers have come to realize that financial well-being needs to be put on the agenda if they want their workforce to be more productive, to be more loyal, if they want to reduce absenteeism, and overall increase the well-being of their employees. So you can tell by what I've described so far that financial coaching is very different to financial advice. In fact, giving out financial advice without being regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority is illegal. And what that means in this context is that I will work with people to coach them, to share information, my knowledge, help them make informed decisions, but I will not specifically recommend any financial products. Examples of financial products include mortgages, pensions, insurances, investment funds, and so on. I will not tell people which one of these products they should go for. That's not a financial coach's job. That's what an advisor does. Now, understanding what financial coaching is and what is not is one thing, but it doesn't guarantee that coaching is for you. There are a lot of elements that come into play when it comes to coaching, from your readiness to be coached all the way to finding a coach that's right for you and building a relationship with them that is based on rapport, that's based on empathy, professionalism, and trust. If you want to read an article about what makes a good coach, I will leave a link for you to the one I wrote a while ago in the description box below. If, however, you are looking to work with a financial coach, let me give you some more information about my style of coaching and the way that I view money. I am not one of those financial coaches who has had money problems themselves and managed to overcome them and is now sharing how they did that with other people. That's not me. Apart from my mortgage, I never had any debts or any other major financial commitments. Now, please don't let that fool you into believing that I was born into money, because that couldn't be further from the truth. I spoke about this before sporadically, but I was actually born in Eastern Europe, in a country called Romania, which was still under communism when I was born. I didn't live in a communist regime for very long because it fell shortly, but guess what? My parents lived there all their lives, and that's all they knew when I arrived. So the spirit in which I was raised was that of resourcefulness rather than resources. And that was because it wasn't uncommon for us and other families in Romania to have money, not a lot of it granted, a little, but not to be able to do much with it because the shops were all empty, there was nothing to buy. So my first memories of money are of this stack of papers that sat there idle and didn't have much power. Instead, I was taught that I have the power to get whatever I wanted. I've done a Pecha Kucha talk on this topic, so I'll link it for you below if you want to hear more of this story. But the bottom line is that my upbringing influenced my relationship with money, which is very different to what I noticed in my clients and my friends and colleagues in the UK and in other Western countries. Which is why I believe that whatever our financial situation is now, it's the result of a story that we tell ourselves. And therefore, my tagline, rewrite your financial story. My story is that money doesn't have great power, but I do. Money is only there to support some of my goals, but it's not a goal in itself. And I expect to have money because that's what I'm used to, seeing it there. I remember it like it was yesterday. We kept it very visible in our house, and I also had a Minnie Mouse rucksack where I kept my own savings. I wrote an article about my relationship with money, which I will link for you below if you want to have a read. This part of my story was difficult for me to talk about for a while because it's very vulnerable and it's very emotional for me. But it is what makes my take on financial coaching unique. It is what sets me apart from other professionals. I cut through the BS. When someone comes to me saying that there's no hope for them and their situation is so bad, I call it for what it is, a story. By the way, BS stands for bedtime story, in case you didn't know. But because I've experienced this story in a very different way, I know that the other side of the coin is possible for these people. I believe in them before they can believe in themselves. I also believe that every kick in the bum is a step forward, and I don't shy away from challenging my clients when I feel that they need to be challenged. So if my story and this style of coaching resonates with you, please get in touch and get ready to rewrite your financial story. I will leave a link to my diary below. Okay, and this brings us to the end of this video, a much more personal one than the ones I usually post. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Also, don't neglect the 2 videos suggested on the screen, which have been carefully selected for you to help you get more confident with managing your money and your mind around it. So go check them out if you've got the time. That's it from me for today. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.